Hey everyone, it's TimaeuSS here, and welcome to another NIKKE video. So the waifu killer, the D killer is here, and she's actually really good. She's so damn good in terms of her design, of course, and her meta viability. So let's go over her builds, the cubes that we want to use, as well as the skill levels and the team compositions. But right off the bat, let's take a look at the home page. So this is the Max Limit Broken homepage for D, and it looks so damn gorgeous. Really reminds me of the Summer Mary vibes, right? Like this, looking down upon you, showing the acid, and from the back as well, her JPS, even though it's a sniper, is not a lot, but her gear is so big. Oh my god! I mean, if this hasn't convinced you to pull, I don't know what will. But let's talk about her meta viability. Well, right off the bat, she's going to be a supported type sniper rifle user, so I'm sure you have a lot of these Elysian supported type overload gears around, so that's not going to be a problem. And taking a look at her skills, you need to understand that her damage calculation in terms of the buff she provides is really good, because pierce damage is added pretty much outside at near the end of the damage formula, so it's really good in comparison to something like attack, right? Attack percentage. It's not even final attack percentage, it's even more as part of the pierce damage. And the allies that benefits from this only needs to have pierce as part of the kit. They don't actually need to do piercing damage. So as long as the attack itself has pierce, or the ally has pierce in the kit, the attack that has the pierce property will do increased damage. So it's really good, and of course she gives it to herself as well. And most importantly, this cooldown reduction 774 actually is enough for her in terms of the skills. The first two skills are really good. Attack damage buff is decent as well, and the cooldown is really good, but the burst is not the most important part. Okay, the core damage buff is additive. So for example, if you have 200% core damage as base, the 11.82 is added. It's not 11.82 on top of the 200%, unfortunately. And then the attack buff based on caster attack is again not that significant. I mean, it's something, but it's not huge, right? And of course, the final attack herself is not going to deal a lot. So 774, you can do 10-10-7, but 774 will get the job done. And you're worried, oh, it's only a 6-second burst cooldown. How are we going to trigger this every rotation? Well, couple of things. You can use the Bastion Cube. That's right. The Bastion Cube offers basically ammo refund. So for every 3 round you'll get so for every 10 rounds fire you get 3 back, right? So of course her ammo is not the highest. I believe you can see here her ammo is going to be 6, and we need 8 shots, which means if you're going to do Bastion and you want to do the longevity build with pretty much every single reload you get at least 1 off, you definitely want to overload. And to overload, again, for those of you that don't know, you overload the T9 gear by leveling up to level 5. Okay, after you level up to level 5, you'll be able to use the equipment modification, and then you'll be able to overload. And you're looking for max ammo. So here charge damage is kind of useless. You can go for max ammo, and I saw some players discussing charge speed. Honestly, it's not going to affect her that much. So here, charge speed, elemental damage, I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad. But what you're really looking for is ammo capacity. So after you do the ammo capacity, and I'll show you guys in game, even just 1 line allows you to reach the breakpoint, right? So as soon as you get ammo capacity, that's it. 1 line is even enough. You can overload the rest, so that increases her stats, and it does benefit from the burst, which, like I said, it's based on caster's attack, so the overload substat will not be affected because it's not on final attack, but the overload stats that you get from just the base from upgrading the gear, you'll benefit from. So there is definitely some merit to upgrading the T9 into at least T10, and of course getting at least 1 max ammo capacity upgrade. So that's the base, so in terms of the build. And then if we look at the team, so we're going to the union rate, right? And we showcased in the previous video that you can get dual buffs from the ult, even if you are, you know, using a non-pierce or a shotgun or machine gun user rocket launchers, as long as you're hitting, you know, the part if the boss has parts, and somewhere else you'll get both the core and the attack buff. So it's really, really good. And even as Moldernia, who's locked on to kind of one component, you can just strafe a tiny bit and hit outside of the target range, and you'll get the buff. So in terms of teams, okay, I honestly really like this team because both Red Hood as well as Alice will benefit from the Pierce bonus. So both of them will do really, really good damage. And of course, these two units being super strong and OP, it also helps with the damage output. Now, the only concern I have, of course, about this is that it does split up the Alice and the Scarlet Black composition. So if you guys played in the other solo raids, you'll know that Scarlet Black is pretty much tied to Alice because they're so damn good together, right? And if we take a look at the amount of buffs coming out, you can see that from Red Hood, the piercing, we are going to get kill the target here, which is the attack buff. Of course, this boss doesn't have the part because we didn't see the red circle. So if you're attacking an enemy boss that has parts, you'll have these red circle, and you'll get bonus from both the damage coming out. So this is really insane. Like, this is really good damage, and of course the piercing damage that's being from the calm sniping, I believe. Yeah, so this is the piercing damage that's coming out, is basically straight up an 11.7% DI damage increase. So this is kind of the double pierce comp. It has really insane damage output, but again, you're kind of gimping your Scarlet Black team, right, by putting Alice there. So technically there is, you know, a potential in running a team like this. So you can do Maxwell, Red Hood, and then the Maxwell would benefit. Now, there's also another really cool build you can do. So this is the Moldernia. Okay, this is the Moldernia decomposition, where you can use a single B3, right? If you put, I think you do require a cooldown reduction unit if it's not Moldernia, but we'll just, let's say we'll put a litter here. So if we do this build, you'll be able to see that during the 2 bursts that's being used, you'll see Moldernia burst as the sole B1. This is really interesting. Now, the application of this, of course, we need to see. I mean, solo B1 is not the strongest, since, you know, we know solo B3 is not the strongest, because we know B3 users are your damage type damage dealers. And Moldernia, you actually don't want her to burst either, right? So this is, I mean, this is just for funsies. But there might be play later on where if we get another cooldown reduction unit and we can play around with potentially a solo B2, that might be, you know, a viable option. You can see we're not super close, so we do definitely need, you know, even more cooldown reduction involved. But you can technically use a single B1. That is definitely a viable option. Although the practicality of it remains to be seen. So this is really interesting because, you know, we now see the capability of just a flat reduction coming out as part of the skill. So if this is a skill 10, of course, Moldernia will obviously have, I believe, 1 second less on the cooldown. But this is very interesting, and I think opens the door to a lot of cool compositions that people will be able to try. I'm going to be testing out a bit more and see, you know, what options are viable. But so far, as part of meta, I think she definitely has a place, just from, you know, the damage formula being a 20-second B1 that has a cooldown reduction. I mean, the next thing we had was litter, and then followed by volume, right? She definitely replaces volume in the team compositions, and the synergy on the core damage, the piercing with the current piercing meta unit is quite good. Quite good indeed. So yes, I think she's definitely meta, but do note that, guys, half anniversary is coming. We'll be having at least a pilgrim, and I expect even a collab announcement, because they said first half of 2024 we'll have collab. So I expect a collab announcement as well during the half anniversary show. So yeah, stay tuned for that. You can wishlist her, you can, you know, luck sack her off of molds, and regular pulls will be added. So we'll get a ton of pulls during half anniversary. So maybe that's a time we can pick her up if you don't have the gems or the pulls saved for the or the tickets for the upcoming pilgrims. But overall, fantastic, top tier waifu, top tier unit, and I couldn't be more happy to have this. And the story, I mean, the homepage from just the event story is goated already, right? So yeah, all around, I'm super happy with this event, and this sets up the stage for the anniversary as well. So anyhow, it's TimaeuSS here. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye now.